So I'm here reporting from Identity Week America 2025. I'm joined now by IM leader Anthony Vidiano, who's going to give me his perspective with a wealth of experience from the healthcare industry. With the growing number of both non-human and human identities, how does this increase the complexity of permissions management?
Yeah, well, hello Evie, and thank you so much for having me. Really glad to be here. It definitely increases the complexity. So you've already got hundreds of thousands of accounts in most large organizations, and a lot of those accounts have hundreds of types of access, entitlements, global groups, different things like that. And now we're just compiling that and making that bigger, and so the problem can grow exponentially. And so what we're talking about here at this conference in a lot of ways is how do we better manage these entitlements, how do we better manage the accounts, how do we solve some of the problems that a lot of companies have been struggling with for a long time, so that way we can build the foundation for the future technology to come.
And you've got a lot of people in healthcare who might need access to that data, etc. What role does AI play these days in streamlining or automating access permissions?
Yeah, well, what I hope is going to happen is that it really takes the administrative burden off of a lot of people. Because today, sometimes you have to bring in an army of people that can collect information manually from all the different systems where all this data lives, the different sources of truth. Bring it into your identity governance tool, and now that your identity governance tool can be the authoritative source, and you can actually use it to operate controls for it. And so I'm hoping AI can kind of help solve that problem. Maybe it can go out and go answer all those questions for you. It can go discover all the entitlements that exist and create really great descriptions that humans can understand, maybe new names for those global groups and entitlements, and say this is what access people have, make it more discoverable, understandable, and that's what I'd like it to solve. And then on top of that, though, we know agentic AI is going to bring in new problems. For example, if you have two different agents that are working on behalf of two different humans, how do you give those agents the permission that it needs at that point in time and then take it away when it no longer needs it? And how do you make sure it's doing the right transactions that you as the human intended, and they're not going off and doing some crazy stuff that you don't want it to do?
And I suppose at the same time, AI can help with kind of the service of, the experience of the user using
Exactly.
those systems.
Yeah.
What is the state of identity management and access management systems? How do they talk to each other, and are you, integrating with any existing infrastructure, legacy infrastructure?
Yeah, the way I like to look at it is you've got kind of your identity fabric, and what that does is it's the different layers of tools that you're using for different functions. For example, for me, it starts with identity governance. So you have a tool that does your identity governance. What that does is it brings in data from all the different tools and systems and access that people need to do their jobs on a day-to-day basis. And so the question is, how do you get that data? A lot of tools can integrate through APIs. Some legacy systems take a little bit more effort to kind of build in that level of integration. And so in some cases, we even revert to sort of more manual data feeds or just kind of raw CSV file loads on a weekly basis, try to automate that. So you're getting the data you need, but not at the rate that you'd like to do it. But it's better than manually running reports every week or every month to get the data you're looking for. So that's an important aspect. And then it's all the runtime aspects. So you've got the administrative time on the IGA tools, and then the runtime is how do you implement just-in-time access? How do you implement things like zero trust? And that's all new technologies across the network and the identity space.
How would you compare kind of the public sector maybe and the private sector's kind of adoption of IM?
Yeah, I would expect the private sector is probably a little bit more cutting edge, but I think when you have large companies, it's very hard to make those moves. I mean, you could have teams that are investigating the new technologies and making investments there, but actually implementing that and applying that to some of the legacy technology that exists, it's always a balance. Is how do you keep the legacy technology running that really maybe runs the core of your business, while also investing in the future, so that way you can be more agile and adaptable to what's coming in the future.
Well, I think everyone's adapting and these days. It's brilliant to talk to you today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
I will. Thank you, Evie.